continuing in our sermon series with the book of James. So our pastor's been walking through this book called Building Heroes. And James, it's just a great book. Matter of fact, it's a very special book to me because it kind of helped change my life when I was in college. And so when I was in college, I worked at a church. It was called Henderson Hills. It's a church of about 2,000 plus, big old church. I was on the student team. I was one of the interns. And we'd have about 250 youth students every Wednesday night. And I led worship, did games, and had a lot of good times. And but those 3.5 years, I can only remember one Wednesday night, to be honest with you. And so it was a Wednesday night that the student guy had asked our adult education pastor to come in and share. And we're thinking, the adult education pastor, what's he going to do? Like, this is like crazy world down here. He's really coming down here? And so this guy, his name was Mike Booth. Mike came in that Wednesday night, and he came in with a giant box full of paper. It's like, what in the world is this? He said, guys, start passing these out. So me and the other intern, we start passing out the papers to everybody. Everybody got a copy, everybody got a copy. And as we took the paper, we looked at it, and it was just simply the Bible. It was the copy of the book of James. This is interesting. He's got the whole book copied on this paper. You know, we didn't have, projectors and even overheads back when I was doing that stuff. It was just on paper. And everybody had a copy, and he said, I'll tell you what, if you guys will just follow along with me, I'd like to just start on chapter 1. And then he began to quote from chapter 1. He said, James, a servant of God and the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations, greetings. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work in you so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. But when he asks, he must believe and not doubt, because he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That man should not think he will receive anything from the Lord. He's a double-minded man, unstable in all he does. The brother in humble circumstances ought to take pride in his high position. But the one who is rich should take pride in his low position, for he will pass away like a wildflower. For the sun rises with scorching heat, it withers the plant, its blossom falls, and its beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich man will fade away even while he goes about his business. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God has tempted me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone, but each one is tempted by his own evil desire when he is dragged away and enticed. And then desire, after it is conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it's full grown, it gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. He chose us to give us a birth through the word of truth, that we might be a kind of first fruits of all he created. Take note of this, my dear brothers. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. Therefore, get rid of the moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like a man who looks at his face in the mirror, and after looking at himself, he goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does. If anyone considers himself to be religious, but yet does not keep a tight rein on his tongue, his religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless as this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. That's chapter 1. Then he did something even crazier. He said, chapter 2, he said, my brother,